Alrighty, let's learn some Latin time with the dude who didn't brush his hair today. Well, there's Chao, yeah, who cares? I made me lawns, it's raining now. Why? Because I maintain a certain standard. Always. Why? Why not? There you go. Why not? Okay. American economic capitulation. American hierarchy of law capitulation. United States of America. Commander-in-Chief. Lord Trump. Whatever. Let's learn some Latin. As we know, on their dollar bills, they have the little Illuminati pyramid that you will also find all through Freemasonry. As we all know, everybody, except for maybe a couple. Unsure what's going on now, I'll get into that in a second. Worships the dollar. All of those who are in control worship money and power. Not God, money and power. That's how they got there. Those who do not seek it do not get it. Those who get it sought it. They wanted it. They chased after it. You don't get it if you don't chase after it. Of course, it's like anything. It's like a rabbit. It's like a job. It's like knowledge. It's like swimming. If you don't actively put yourself in the water and to learn how to swim, you don't learn how to swim. It's the same with absolutely everything. If you don't get off your ass and learn to walk, you drag your ass all your life. If you don't learn to run, if you don't learn to walk, you can't learn to run. Novus Ordo seclorum, a Latin phrase meaning new order of the ages. It's written on all their money. Famously featured on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States and the $1 bill. Isn't it funny how we call it a $1 note? It's a promissory note, a promissory note, a note of promise. They call it a bill. A bill, which means it's obvious that it's a currency based on debt. It's all it's ever been. It's all based on debt. I'll get into gold in a minute on why it's not yours. Actually, I could probably do it. I'll do a brief summary on it, but I reckon I'll do a whole thing on that. Now, it's not yours, but it is yours. Okay, anyway. Famously featured on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States and the $1 bill, symbolizing the beginning of a new American era and a shift to a new age of governance and liberty inspired by Roman poet Virgil's prophecies of a golden age. Coined by Charles Thomson, it represents the foundational ideal of the United States as a fresh start for humanity, distinct from old world systems. This is from AI overview, whatever Google chucks up. I don't actively do anything with AI. Google does that. I suppose that's a form of AI itself, isn't it? But anyhow, humanity. Hue, deriving in an ancient language, means monster. I'm not sure if that's Latin or something older than that. Maybe Aramaic even. But hue means monster, and then you have man. Hue man means monster man. monstermanity, distinct from old world systems, right? Meaning, key aspects, meaning, new order of the ages, or a new order of the ages is born. Location, on the scroll below the pyramid on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States. By the way, the United States Great Seal is an eagle, just like Rome. Are we seeing a little pattern forming here? A little carried on enshrinement of great seals. Origin, adapted from Virgil's eclogues, not sure how to pronounce that, eclogues, Eclogues, referencing a prophecy of a new golden age. Now, that's Roman prophecy. Roman prophecy and Greek prophecy don't mean the same thing. Okay, in Greek prophecy, it was like a fortune telling. It was a prediction of the future. Okay, Roman prophecy. Oh, sorry, I have that wrong. No, I don't. Yeah, in Roman Latin and Greek Latin, prophecy is a prediction of the future. Hebrew prophecy is the word of God. To prophesy is to spread the word. It's just to spread the word of fact, of knowledge of what is. So they could prophesy in the current, they could prophesy in the past, and they could prophesy on the future. It's a much broader brush. Significance. Signifies the start of the American era, a departure from past monarchies, marking a new epoch of freedom and self-governance. Creator, Charles Thomson, Secretary of the Continental Congress, adapted it for the seal. In context, Great Seal. Placed on the pyramid, it represents the new American nation initiating a new cycle of history. American exceptionalism ties into the idea of the US as a unique nation bringing a fresh political and social order to the world. Given that they're the youngest nation in the world, they're only a couple of 100 years old, we're older than they are, and they're about to fall. Just like Rome. But Rome didn't fall, it was brought down from within. Now, Annuit Coeptis is a Latin motto meaning He, God, Providence, God/Providence, favours our undertakings and beginnings. Famously featured on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States and the US dollar bill, symbolising divine approval of the nation's endeavours, from Latin annuo, to favour, nod, assent, and coeptum, beginning, undertaking. It's often paired with the Eye of Providence above it, suggesting God's nod to the new American project. AI, I reckon you need to change that big G to a little g in God. Just saying. Key meanings and context. Literal translation. He favours our undertakings, or he approves our beginnings. Context on the seal. Placed above the Eye of Providence, it signifies that divine providence smiles upon or has approved the new nation's ventures. Origin. adapted from Virgil's Aeneid, 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 Virgil's Aeneid, I suppose, is connected. It connects the American foundation to classical ideas of divine guidance. Now, given that it's on the money, keep Jekyll Island in mind. At Jekyll Island, keep Jekyll Island in mind. The Olympic / Titanic, the swapping of the ships after a accident at dock that saw the Titanic at the bottom of the Mediterranean and the Olympic at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. The one that hit the iceberg, the Olympic, Titanic, Olympic. That's another story again. Ordo ab Chao, order out of chaos, is a concept describing the emergence of structure from randomness, appearing in science, self-organisation, disapparative structures, philosophy, time, chance, spirituality, Masonic motto, Freemasonry motto, and practical applications like negotiation, Scott Walker's book of academic planning, Leslie Josel's tools, signifying creation, meaning, or control arising from disorder. It highlights how complex, ordered systems can spontaneously form from seemingly chaotic states, a core theme in physics and biology and a goal in human endeavours to find purpose in life's disarray. There's far more to that. God, there's some wicked names in here. Ilya Prigogines, Prigogines, Isla Prigogines, Order Out of Chaos, a key book exploring how far from equilibrium systems like weather, living cells, spontaneously created order, challenging classical views of time and chance. Okay, obviously this is giving us the, in science and philosophy, this is, that's to do with Darwinism, the Darwinian theory, nothing more than. Self-organisation, the natural tendency of systems to develop patterns and structures without external control, a fundamental principle in physics, chemistry and biology. That said, all of those still rely on the one key factor, the Big Bang. The Big Bang relies on a miracle, something from nothing. In spirituality and Freemasonry, Ordo ab Chao, Latin, a motto of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, symbolising the spiritual journey from a state of inner turmoil, chaos, to enlightenment and brotherhood order. Still, there's far more to it than that. In practical life and business, negotiation. Scott Walker's book, Order Out of Chaos, applies crisis negotiation skills, listening, emotional control to everyday life to manage high-pressure situations and achieve better outcomes. Organisation. Companies like Order Out of Chaos, there's a company, provide planners and systems to help students and adults manage time, tasks and academic performance, creating structure in busy lives. I've got a funny feeling that AI might be controlled in this situation. Key idea. It's the universal process where complexity and structure arise from disorder, whether through natural laws, spiritual striving, or learned techniques. Also through manipulation. Okay, that's the three Latin terms that I wanted to explain, or to give a bit of clarity to. So there you have Ordo ab Chao, which is order out of chaos. Novus, Ordo seclorum. New order of the ages. Starting to smell something here? What are we in the middle of at the moment? Who do you really think is running everything at the minute as far as World Economic Forum and all that goes? They run the United Nations, they run NATO, they're running all this bullshit. Do you really think it's the United States, or do you start to think maybe it's got a bit more to do with Rome? There's Roman Latin all over their money and all over all of their policy and throughout all of the Western world's law. So-called law, legislature. The Western world's legislature is not law. Annuit Coeptis. He, God, and Providence, favours our undertaking and beginnings. Now, that may be true, but which God are they working with now? I don't think they're working with God with a big G. Sorry, AI. Now, the Scottish Rite, as I just mentioned, is the eagle with the two heads pointing in different directions. All of this means stuff. It all means stuff. An eagle that doesn't face forwards, it doesn't face left, and it doesn't face right. It faces in two different directions. It's got two heads. Order out of chaos. Let's have a look at that, will we? The motto of the Scottish Rite, Ordo ab Chao, order out of chaos. This motto is probably found... I don't care. Really don't care about that. I'm not donating. Why would I donate money? Go away. This motto is probably found for the first time in the patent of February the 1st, 1802, issued by the brother Alexander Augustus Comte de Grasse, Marcus de Tilly. The motto, Ordo ab Chao, implies the action of a principle of order, the chaos from which each of us comes, symbolizing the suffering and disarray of the human spirit that precedes the path to a spiritual life of peace and brotherhood. It is explained as denoting the mission as Masons is to bring order out of chaos. It brings a source of hope to those in darkness who aspire to the light. The light. From darkness comes the light. What takes us from dark to light? The morning star? Who is the morning star? That would be Satan. The ancient and accepted Scottish Rite is a full Masonic rite and has its own distinctive versions of the craft, what the witches practice, craft, or Blue Lodge rituals, which includes the entered apprentice, fellowcraft, the Master Mason degrees. It is the most practiced rite in the world. Thus, most Master Masons are thought the Scottish rite system, with the exception, of the United States of America, where most lodges do not work the first 3 degrees in the Scottish rite, but rather join after the attainment of the 3rd degree in their own systems. Compartmentalisation, that's called. That's how they weed out who they want to rise up which ladder. Okay? Like I said, I know some things. When you're looking on Google, at the moment I'm in Wikipedia now. The ancient and accepted Scottish rite, blue degrees, are more common in Europe, Asia, Africa and Latin American jurisdictions. Africa. The Freemasonry in Africa comes from Europe and Britain, and that is who owns all of the mining rights in South Africa. Now, who owns the mining rights in Smithton? Not Smithton, I'm an idiot. In Rosebery, Tasmania. MMG, which is a South African mining company owned by the Freemasonry. All lodges in the International Order of Freemasonry for men and women, Le Droit Humain, work seamlessly from the 1st to the 3rd degree and practice only the ancient and accepted Scottish rite. These 2 characteristics define it as an order and not as an obedience. Most lodges under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge de France use these degrees, as do a few of the lodges under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge Nationale Française. It is also a dominant ritual out of the other rituals in use in the Grand Lodge of Spain. There are 2 lodges in Australia that practice the AASR craft, ancient and accepted Scottish rite degrees. The Zetland Lodge of Australia, number 9, and Lodge France, 1021, both of which are under the United Grand Lodge of New South Wales and Australian Capital Territory. This goes on for quite a bit. Anyhow, what happens when you get up to initiation for the 33rd degree? Many people think that the 33rd degree is the top. Oh, how sorely mistaken you are. Why do you think the top, the cap of the pyramid, is separated from the rest of the pyramid with an eye overseeing everything? No, Nick, it's not because you're keeping an eye on the Freemasons. And take me for a fool. You did though, didn't you? And you realised I looked right through it. Okay. You get to 33rd degree, and all the way up through that, you think that you are, you think that you're practicing in a Freemasonry lodge with Annuit Coeptis. He, God, favours our undertakings and beginnings. You are led to believe that. You're led to think that. It depends what you learn from the lessons, because the lessons have 2 directions they can go in, and it depends if you're sharp enough to pick up on it. If you are not sharp enough to pick up on it, congratulations. Welcome to the 33rd degree of Masonry. You have now reached the peak of the lodge, and it's an accomplishment. It's like you've reached the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. There are higher mountains than that, like Everest. If you are sharp enough to see the other path within those lessons, there is a little test that they do. Some lodges, you are presented with a Bible, and without being told what you have to do with this Bible, you are simply asked, now you know what to do. Do you accept this? Do you accept this gift that we are offering you, sort of thing? Do you plead allegiance to our God Almighty? And if you plead allegiance to the God Almighty that is in that Bible, that's it for you. 33rd degree. You've reached the top. You think you're at the top. If you spit on that Bible, you get taken into another. There's 2 doors. Okay? The only people at that initiation are the ones who know this. You go through a different door. Nobody really knows what's going on there. Through that different door, there is a whole different altar waiting for you. Different people. Congratulations. Now you have passed the initiation to further your studies to reach the top of Freemasonry, where there are more degrees that lead up to Jester, Grand Master, Grand Poobah. Don't have to take my word for it. But like I said, I have repressed memories for a reason. Sometimes they pop back and they give me nightmares. I'm unsure of what they are. I'm quite happy to leave them as they are, because I think they will give me shocking torment if I unearth them. They're better off where they are. What triggers these nightmares? Medication. Painkillers. Simple old painkillers. That's why I don't take them. I've got to be in a lot of pain to take a painkiller. Believe me. It's masonry all through my family. I know things. Once you go into that other room to enter into the second initiation, where you have to make a blood oath, a life oath, an oath of your life, to not speak out of school. It will cost you your life and quite possibly all sorts of things. During that period of time that it has taken you to get to the 33rd degree, they have dug up everything they can on you and put you in a compromising position that you do not know about. They may have got you drunk. They may have slipped you a Mickey Flynn when you wasn't even with them. And you've gone to a hotel room and there have been photos taken of you with someone else in a bed. You may not even remember it too well. But can you deny the photos when you have a foggy memory after looking at it? You are now compromised. How do you think Epstein Island worked? Happens all the time, doesn't it, Conzi? The swamp wasn't drained to get rid of the deep state. The swamp was drained because the deep state is now in direct control. They don't need the swamp donkeys anymore. They've outlived their usefulness. They're irrelevant. The Democrats and the Democrips and the Bloodlickens. No longer required. While they all play their little reverse blackmail games, trying to blackmail the blackmailers into a situation where they cannot blackmail them, they're all compromised. Every single fucking one of them has compromised each other. Order out of chaos. Capiche? Comprende? Savvy? I suggest parlay. Oh, guys. That was a pretty rugged lesson on it, pretty rough one. But it should have planted enough seeds of intrigue for you to go deep diving yourself. Because, hey, don't be so lazy. I can't do all the work, you know. Oh, and by the way, my court case isn't Monday, sorry, it's Tuesday. I got my days mixed up. The 23rd. So, like I said, I don't want your wishes. I don't do luck. I don't do wishes. I do prayer. I do prayer. The world needs as much prayer as it can get. One man does not have enough selfless deeds to cover the world's needs, but the world needs as many selfless deeds as it can get. Don't be scared to jump on board. God bless you.